Last story of the day. I wanted to go back to an older story I covered because it is a key theme of book number two, but it's also a key theme related to what I talked about with Biden on Monday's show or Tuesday's show, excuse me. Joe Biden and his now what looks like strong evidence of his collusion with the government of Ukraine to benefit his son. Evidence is in the Hill report by John Solomon. What am I getting at? Book number two paints the dreadful Mueller probe, which I just eviscerated in this show, as an effort to keep the attention on the Trump team, despite knowing collusion with Russia wasn't real, because I believe they were hiding collusion with real entities. Joe Biden and the Obama administration with Ukraine, and the Clinton team and their collusion with Russia. There is a John Solomon story from the Hill. It is from 2017, but this is worth your time. I re-upped it in today's show notes. The title is Bill Clinton sought State Department's permission to meet with Russian nuclear official during Obama uranium decision. I'm going to make this quick, but it's very, very important. You understand the lead here. The collusion scandals are very real. They are just not the Trump one. Biden, Ukraine, Clinton, Russia. Bill Clinton, while his wife is in the State Department back in 2010, there were emails uncovered in this piece that you need to read. I will put a couple screenshots up of these emails. But these emails are devastating. Citizens United did a lot of work on that, Dave Bossi's group. The emails are requests from Bill Clinton's people, Bill, to State Department officials working for Hillary, for Bill Clinton to go meet with two Russians. Ladies and gentlemen, these two Russians are key figures in what I believe is a massive collusion scandal that's getting ready to blow quickly. Hat tip, by the way, big hat tip to Peter Schweizer's book, Clinton Collusion or Clinton Corruption. Peter Schweizer, check out his book. It's fantastic. And John Solomon as well. I don't want to take credit for their work. Schweizer's hat tipped in this John Solomon piece as well. But here's the first official, and we have this screenshot from the Hill piece. So Bill Clinton's staff wants to meet with a guy named Arkady Dvorkovich, a top aide to then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. What? What do you mean? We're meeting with Russians now, Bill Clinton? So, and he's one of the highest ranking government officials to serve on Rosatom, remember that name, their board of supervisors. This was listed on a May 14, 2010 email as one of 15 Russians Bill Clinton wanted to meet with during a late June 2010 trip. Now, keep that up for a second. Keep in mind, this is an email in May. Clinton's taken a trip in June of 2010, a month later. The Uranium One deal is approved when? October in 2010. So after this, Bill Clinton's staff is in an email asking to meet with a key Dmitry Medvedev confidant who sits on the board of the company, Rosatom, that wants to buy Uranium One. Nothing to see here, folks. Don't you worry. It goes on. In the context of a possible trip to Russia at the end of June, WJC, William Jefferson Clinton, this is the email, is being asked to see the business government folks below. Would state have concerns about Clinton seeing any of these folks? Clinton Foundation Foreign Policy Advisor Amitabh Desai wrote to the State Department. Folks, why am I even bringing this up? Because again, book number two, it just destroys this collusion myth. So let me be clear on this. The whole collusion, Russian collusion hoax is based on the fact that what? That Russians were in the United States and met with Don Trump Jr. at that Trump Tower. That's their entire case. Their entire case is that this was a suspicious meeting. The meeting, now the emails are all public. Nothing came of that meeting at all. We now know that. Everybody acknowledges that. Not only that, the people meeting with Don Trump Jr. are entrapping him. They're connected to Clinton people. It's a trap. So just to be clear, the left's whole premise, Don Trump met with Russians. Bill Clinton's people are in emails asking to meet with key Russian officials sitting on the board of a company trying to buy our uranium before Hillary sits on a board to approve the same exact sale. Are we serious? Are you leftists serious? Arkady Dvorkovich? The guy sat on the board of Rosatom. They're trying to buy Uranium One to get access to our uranium supply. Months later, Hillary's State Department sits on the board that could have nixed this thing, and she says nothing. Tell me again how, folks, this is important because your liberal friends will say, well, let me tie the whole show together. Now that collusion collapsed, and obstruction's going to collapse soon too, despite all that's going on here and these hacks in the Mueller probe. It's going to turn to the Eric Swalwell line of attack, Joe. Well, it may not have been criminal conspiracy with the Russians, but these meetings with the Russians were suspicious. Okay, Eric, was the requested meeting with Arkady Dvorkovich, who sat on the board of Rosatom and is a confidant of the Russian president, was that requested meeting with Bill Clinton, is that suspicious? We'll wait. I'll wait on your answer. We'll give him a little crickets. Silence for me. Anything? Oh, you got nothing. Okay, Eric, thank you. Thanks for your time. But there's another meeting. It doesn't just end there, folks. There's another meeting, a request for one. This one's even more devastating. They also sent an email. Quote, the second person on the list that caught the attention was Russian businessman Viktor Vekselberg. Oh, you've heard that on the show before. 2 days after Hillary Clinton's visit to Russia, Vekselberg was named by Medvedev to oversee a new technology investment project called Skolkovo. Oh, boy. Designed to be Russia's new Silicon Valley, according to media reports. Hillary Clinton had directly discussed the Skolkovo project with Medvedev and state was whipping up support for it among U.S. companies, creating the appearance of a conflict. She even attended a major event with the Russians to promote the project. We want everyone to help, because that's what I think it's everyone's interest to do, she was quoted as saying about the Skolkovo project. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Clinton is in an email asking to meet with Vekselberg. This guy is running Skolkovo, a Russian Silicon Valley project that is later determined by our intel officials to have been an attempt to steal sensitive technology for military use. Hillary's promoting the project. Companies going over there involved in Skolkovo donate to the Clinton Foundation. Bill wants to meet with the head of Skolkovo while Skolkovo is stealing our military technology. And you're telling me, Eric Swalwell, well, I think the meetings with the Russians were suspicious. What about the Vekselberg meeting, Eric Shifty? What about Adam Shifty Schiff? Is that meeting suspicious? Or the request for it? What do I hear there? Joe, can you play that again? I heard something there. Play it again. Yeah, that's right. Crickets. Yes, thank you, Armacost. Key timing there. Crickets. Of course there's going to be crickets. So meetings with Russians at Trump Tower that produce no information, and the Russians that show up, even though they're connected to Hillary, in an obvious entrapment of Donald Trump, but we know everything about the meeting about, that's evidence of collusion worthy of impeachment. But requests for meetings with a Russian sitting on a board of a company who wants to buy our uranium while Hillary Clinton's on a board that approves it, that's not suspicious. And requests for meetings with Russians involved with a military project disguised as a commercial project Hillary supported and steals our military secrets, no worries at all. Don't you worry. Read the piece. It is in the show notes today. It is devastating. Devastating. All right, folks, thanks again.